Hi everyone, Jet Small of Animation Station here with a quick little update before we get to the review. This is the first new video that I'm going to be using a brand new editing video software called Yellow. And it is one that I've wanted to try for a while now, and I've decided that this episode is going to be the test of whether or not this is better than my current editing software or if it's actually worse. For those of you that don't know, I use Filmmaker Pro currently, but for this episode, I want to use this new one, and I want to see how it goes. Okay? So, this review's a little bit of an experiment, so all I can say is sit back, relax, enjoy, and if you like this newer software and all the new stuff that comes with it, let me know down in the comments. Alright. Enjoy. Headphone user warning, there's a little bit of anger in this one because this episode was a pretty big turd. Enjoy. What the hell was that? I want answers now. What the hell was that? That's how you follow up the amazing masterpiece of episode 3? Really? Really? I'm gonna make this one brief before I blow a freaking fuse. Welcome back to Animation Station. Welcome back to our review series of X-Men 97. Season 1, Episode 4, Motendo / Lifedeath Part 1 sucks. This episode was almost outright crap. Like, how can you go from... How can you go from the absolute amazingness of the first 3 episodes, and then as soon as we get to the 4th one, dive headfirst off a freaking cliff? How? This episode was boring, this episode was annoying, and this episode was almost outright terrible. It's not good, it's not even average. It is painfully mediocre in every single way, shape, and form. And I'm gonna let out my rage in this nice quick review. So, let's start with the synopsis and break it down piece by piece. But I'm not going as in-depth or super detailed as my past 3 reviews because this one doesn't deserve it. On the morning of her 18th birthday, Jubilee and Roberto are transported into a video game by Mojo. Meh. That's my only response to that plot. Meh. Sounds very generic. Like, I don't know. Haven't we done a plot similar to this in a ton of other animated shows before? And done better there? I'm sorry, this screams laziness. With the help of a digital copy of Jubilee from the game's beta version, aka an old girl Jubilee, which, I mean, it's cool, and they do try to give a nice message about making the most out of the one life you have, and that you inevitably grow old, and that's okay. I can give them props that they're still trying to throw in adult elements. But in this episode especially, it feels forced as hell. The pair fight their way through the game and defeat Mojo before Spiral sends them back into the real world. Afterwards, Jubilee kisses Roberto. What a rushed, underdeveloped, Just out of nowhere relationship. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. So, that's the main part of the episode, the Motendo episode. It is a freaking mediocre mess. The video game thing could have been cool. They based some video game graphic scenes off of the X-Men arcade game models. That's cool. They try to give a nice message about life. That's fine. Problem is, your execution falls flat on its face. So yeah, that's the whole first half of the episode. It's not good. Then we get to the actual saving grace, which is Lifedeath Part 1. Lifedeath Part 1 is a lot more like what I was expecting from this fourth episode. Meanwhile, Storm heads to Forge's ranch to undergo a procedure meant to restore her powers, but it fails. After he admits to previously inventing power-nullifying technology, an enraged Storm tries to leave, only to be brought back by the adversary. Yeah, this is interesting. I love this plot with Storm and her being angry at finding out Forge made these power-nullifying devices that were stolen by the government. Makes sense, and it makes sense that she would be angry at that. That makes sense, that I can get behind. And the adversary coming in, and the cliffhanger having Storm pretty much on the edge of death. That's fine. The whole second half of the episode is actually really good. You just had to slog through a lot of mediocre, boring shit to get there. I don't know if it was a new writer coming in or something, but everything about this episode feels off. It's nowhere near the quality of the first 3 episodes, and for this to be the big follow-up after the masterpiece that was episode 3, that was Fire Made Flesh, an episode I praised endlessly in my last review, this is inexcusable. It may not be outright crap, but it sucks. In comparison to the other 3 episodes of the show, it sucks. So, let's go ahead and jump to final verdict. It's a 4 out of 10. And it's going to drop the series rating too, because I think, it bumped up to a 9 or something? Let me look. Let me pull up my YouTube real quick and double check what rating I gave to the show overall after episode 3, because I'm pretty sure I bumped it up to a 9, but I need to make absolutely sure. That way I can stay consistent. Episode 3. No, I do not need audio, just show me. Yeah, 9. No. After this episode, it's getting bumped down to an 8. I'll be nice and only dock at 1 point. 8 out of 10 now. But this episode is lousy. Lower your expectations exponentially if you haven't seen it yet, because this episode is not anywhere close to the quality of this series that it should be. It's not trash, but it's nowhere near passable. They should have just canceled the entire Motendo episode because it was stupid and pointless, outside of the one good life message that they try to jam down your throat in this episode, and just make Lifedeath Part 1 the whole episode. That's what they should have done, and yet that's not what they did anyway. Instead, we got this boring video game plot that has one great scene, and that's it. And then the actual interesting good part gets chopped in half, pretty much into a short episode on top of another episode. What the hell were you thinking? And now my expectations are lowered exponentially. Because this episode is what I was afraid that this show was going to be. And if the rest of the episodes of the show are anything like this, we're in trouble. That's the end of the review. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week when we talk about episode 5, remember it? If it's anything like this, I'm gonna blow a gasket. Bye.
I can see We cannot take it anymore. The time has come to go. Prepare to fight. We're ready for